Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is my holofoil rare card, Josh Finney.
I love that you made that reference.
Did
you just learn?
I did.
No, you combined a holofoil with rare cards. I see you're getting a Destiny reference in. Guys, I was just telling Corey before we got started, I can't show this, obviously, to anybody who's listening, but if you're seeing this on YouTube or on any form of video, I've been getting into Magic the last couple of weeks. I finally got bit by the Magic bug. Yep, I previously said that I drew the line at Dungeons & Dragons, but, you know, A1 Johnny has worn me down over the last year and has gotten me, instead of just buying a couple of precons, getting me to actually learn how to play them. And the Final Fantasy set just utterly, completely broke me because these cards are fucking gorgeous, man.
They are very nice.
So I brought Show and Tell. I pulled a couple of cards I was really excited about out of my Commander booster, or my Collector booster that I got. Of course, we got my girl Tifa. We got the full art Tifa, non-foil, but we're still really happy about that.
Indeed. Am I right?
Do what?
I said full art indeed. Am I right?
Full art indeed. We got a Barrett card. It's not like the most amazing thing in the world, but it's shiny and I like it. Vanille in the Surge foil from the good old Surge foil from what's it called? 15. Yes.
Oh,
and yeah,
man, 13. What a game.
Some fun stuff. She has a special ability though that lets me if I flip this around, Corey, this is the back of the card.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yes. So that's going to be really fun. I definitely want to learn how to play that one. We got Nibelheim Aflame. Of course, my dude Sephiroth on the cover.
Nice.
We got Zidane from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, apparently nobody cares about this Zidane, but look, I like Final Fantasy IX. I like Zidane.
Well, the card players don't care about him, Corey. I didn't say I didn't. But the creme de la creme, the best pull I've ever had of anything random in my entire life, going all the way back to when I played Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, except for the pieces of Exodia that I did pull out of booster packs. I bought so many Blue Eyes booster packs as a kid, even after the set was not the hotness anymore, trying to get Exodia. I pulled Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV, the fancy Surge foil, and this bad boy is, it's going for more than my car payment. So, I mean, I have been informed I'm not allowed to sell this one by both my partner and various friends. They're like, you have to go make a deck out of that. So we're going to be buying the precon and slotting that in, just because I am not allowed to sell it. But that is where we are at with the fancy cards right now.
Nice.
I'm very excited.
You know what I did, Josh. I don't have anything.
What'd you do?
I don't have any show and tell, Josh.
You got your Switch too.
Well, I did. Yes, I did get my Switch too. But I did something that I haven't done in a long time.
Took a break.
Well, I guess since last year.
Took a vacation.
Well, that's next week. But I doubt I'll get time off. I have to work probably at some point. But I purchased the that second run of the Expedition 33 Monolith Edition.
Man, I really wanted to, and I realize how silly this is going to sound when I say I couldn't justify the purchase because it was a lot of money. Considering how much I just spent on cardboard this week, but it was a lot of money and I couldn't justify the purchase.
I mean, that's fair.
I
went back and forth.
If it came with anything more than the Monolith, I think I would have considered it.
Well, it comes with an art book and a steel book.
The steel books don't do anything for me, man. Let me tell you. After Sunday, I'm fully ready to embrace the digital era of gaming.
Yeah,
I'm pushing fully ahead with an Xbox Ally at this point. So,
yep, me too.
I'm okay with it. And the Switch 2 has basically abandoned physical games as well. So,
yeah.
Aside
except
from
for first party,
except
apparently.
For so fucking stupid.
Kirby, man, Kirby's going to be all on the cart.
I don't care. I can't tell you how much I don't care. I have just gotten, now that we can share the digital copies on Switch 2, I'm like less bothered by it. I still, listen, I've been a holdout on physical games for a long time because I've seen the way that things get delisted at a moment's notice. I don't like that I have digital games that I'm not able to access anymore, one of which being the Magic the Gathering game from 360, which I claimed with Games of Gold years ago. Cannot claim that anymore. Even if you had it purchased, you can no longer download it. We've seen how games like Tony Hawk and Forza disappear because of music licensing.
I mean, don't forget your beloved Jet Set Radio.
Oh my god, dude! Listen, I own like 3 copies of that game. I know, no joke. I have a copy of it on Xbox. I have a Dreamcast copy around here somewhere, despite not owning a Dreamcast, and I own it digitally.
Oh, you don't own the Sega GT dual pack with it in it?
No, I'm pretty sure that is the copy that I have sitting around. Oh. I'm like 99% certain. I would have to dig that box out of storage though, and yeah, the only original Xbox games I still have are like that, the original Halo games. I might have like Republic Commando in there. KOTOR. Basically, it has to be a Star Wars game or a game where I shoot somebody for me to have kept it at this point, I think. So, like, Chaos Theory is probably in that box. Yeah, my point remains, listen, this champion of physical media is slowly being worn down. It took a long time to get me here with games, but we're finally here. All it took was releasing a product I gave a shit about. And I was already there with my PlayStation. I went digital with PS5 from day one with the justification of, oh, well, I'm not going to be playing too much on this. And then I realized how backwards that logic was, but it was the only one I could get at the time. So, yeah, fuck it, we ball. My Switch, I realized how little I went digital on the Switch when I was downloading stuff to the Switch too. It was like a handful of games like Smash.
Yeah.
I think games I planned on having forever, I went digital. Ironically, I went digital with. Or games I didn't know I had that I knew I didn't have to share.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing being the one notable exception to that, because we both wanted Animal Crossing. It was the middle of the pandemic. We both bought it digitally.
I mean, that's fair.
Because there was no my ass
go out in that?
To a store. Do what?
You're going to go out in that? To go buy Animal Crossing physically? No thanks.
I actually did try to go out that day because we still needed groceries and shit, and things were just starting to lock down. Texas was not as quick on the draw as everyone else, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like super mask up. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go get it. It's like rainy. Maybe nobody will be out. I went to Target and they didn't have copies. Like their copies didn't come in.
Oh.
I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, I'm going home then. Back 20 minutes back home. You had to drive 20 minutes to the nearest Target where we lived. So, yeah, not great. Not great, man. I am still a holdout on physical media when it comes to books and movies, though. I still have a very, very sizable Blu-ray collection, and I don't know if you guys can see. That's only 2 of the 4 bookcases I have filled with books in my house. So... And I have a ton more stacked up, like, on my desk and on a stepladder next to my desk. So, yeah, I have books. Physical books are the things you will have to pry from my cold, dead hands. I don't care. They're a pain in the ass to move, but this is why I hire movers now.
I mean, that's fair.
I've thrown my back out too many times.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I've decided that with the Switch 2, except for maybe, like, the Zelda games that come out, I'm just going to be all digital. There's no point.
I am very worried about game preservation, but at a certain point, it's just not sustainable to be worried about it because, like, there's nothing that we can do. Like, this is just the way the world is going. I went this way with music probably about 10 years ago, and I've never looked back. I've largely I just got done saying what a big movie collection I have. I buy the movie, put it on my shelf, and redeem the code, and usually watch the code. Like, unless we're watching something really, really special, or for whatever reason, it didn't come with a digital code, which are like half of the anime things that I buy. Then I pop the disc in, or like if it's something I like specifically want to watch the 4K cut of, then I'll put it in because we have that, and we have a nice OLED. But man, trying to convince my partner to let me pop a disc in, she's like, oh god, please, can we just select it on Apple TV? Like we have 500 and something movies on Apple TV. Can we just pull that up, please? So I'm starting to fight a losing fight on that front. I will be dead before you pry my books from my hands, though. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, books are like the last thing for me, at least. I went all digital on movies a long time ago.
I can't do e-readers.
Yeah,
I don't like how they feel. My mind is so easily distracted too that if I'm reading off an iPad or something, I'm just gonna like, I don't know, open up like a fucking game on my iPad. I'm gonna play like Hearthstone or something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit there and play Bejeweled for 5 hours instead.
Yeah, I tried to read a book on an iPad at one point, and I was like, I can't do this.
I read every night before I go to bed. It's part of the thing that like calms me down. And like some people have like meditation, some people have a nightcap. Neither of those really seem to help me. So taking 10 milligrams of melatonin, which is probably way more than I need, and reading a book for about a half an hour seems to put me out. So I read every night before I go to bed, and I usually read on lunchtime. So I had a boss who once told me that he watched a documentary every single day at lunch, and he was just like, man, it's just such a great way to learn stuff. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. And then I started asking, like, what kind of documentaries was he watching? And I really regretted asking him that.
Jeez.
So, yeah, this was like 9 years ago when he told me this. I was like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Why would you do that to yourself?
He's enlightened. He's got a third eye, buddy. Oh,
why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know. I don't know. I regretted every minute of that, though. You know what I didn't regret, though, Corey?
Not watching any of those videos that came out this week.
Well, I do regret that a little bit. First of all, I want to say here at the top, I did not at the top 15 minutes in after I talked about my horrible spending habits.
I mean, we did just talk about how we're gonna spend, approximately $1,000 more on an Xbox handheld when we both bought Switch 2s.
It's true. I will be making that purchase without my partner knowing. That's all I'm going to say. That thing looks fucking awesome. I really hope that Destiny just runs smoothly on it so that I can have it on the go with me, just like so I can knock out like some solo ops or something. Mm-hmm. I very, very excited to see test plays of this, but as always, it's going to come down to the price and it's going to come down to the battery life. Yeah. I'm like less concerned about the battery life and way more concerned about the price, especially after the news today, The Verge reporting that Xbox is canceling their handheld. Their internal handheld, it is all but dead. Apparently, they're that happy with the ROG, and like, apparently, the hands-on that people got with it at Summer Game Fest was it. They're like, okay, people liked it enough. We're done.
Yeah, I was talking to Cog on Twitter about it, and he loved it. He's like, I got to tell you, this might actually revitalize the Xbox.
Every single person that I saw that I trust who got a hands-on with it at SGF basically said the same thing. So Greg Miller has become a notable PlayStation voice, by the way, has become a pretty big Xbox player over the last like 6 to 8 months, I would say, because he got so attached to his ROG Ally and the idea of play anywhere.
Yeah.
He loves the central thesis of it. Like, you play the game and your save transfers between both. The most important thing to note about this handheld is it is the Xbox PC versions, is the Windows PC versions of games. It is not your Xbox console yet.
Yeah, so that means like no Xbox 360 or
which is obviously the biggest hurdle to something like this.
Yeah, and also like the third-party games that aren't Play Anywhere on your Xbox probably won't be here either at the start.
Yes, notably EA and Ubisoft games are not on there.
Yeah.
So if you own a lot of those, I owned a lot more from both of those digitally than I thought I did.
Yeah.
So that was a little frustrating. I saw people nitpicking. They're like, is this really an Xbox though? Like, I can't get my 360 games on there. It's like, bitch, look at your timeline. You have never once talked about owning an Xbox. Don't give me that nonsense about your 360. So I do think that it's going to be a big deal. I'm excited to see all the major storefronts except for Epic are confirmed right now. We do think Epic will get announced at its own event.
Yeah.
They'll probably do some Fortnite promo leading into it and be like, oh, by the way, Epic is available today.
Yeah, the Rockstar launcher apparently is going to be on it too. I saw
That doesn't
someone.
surprise me. I think it has to be.
Yeah,
But
no,
like in
it's
terms
just
of like
that what I'm just saying that
major
was one that wasn't.
stores,
Yeah, I'm just saying that was one that wasn't talked about.
I think it was also ones that they have like distinct marketing with, like Ubisoft. They've gotten really close with Ubisoft. Of course, BattleNet is their own service. That's going to be their GOG and Steam. Having Steam be a part of that announcement, them being able to stay Steam by name at that show and put the Steam logo in their trailers was big.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what the price point is, though.
Oh yeah, me too. What do you think PlayStation thinks about this?
I think PlayStation is licking their chops right now. I think they think this is amazing. Because PlayStation is going to come out with an in-house handheld.
Right.
Is third time the charm? Like, I loved my PSP and my Vita. I like the Vita a lot more than a lot of people did. But they stopped supporting that thing almost right away. The challenge for PlayStation, however, is going to be they want to keep being the cutting edge face of home console gaming and pushing the boundaries as far as they can there. You have to make compromises when it comes to your handheld versions, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're at a point where they're willing to do that yet. Also, I think that they're going to get into a catch-22. Like, okay, well, if you're going to put games on your handheld day and date, why are we still not getting them on Steam in a reasonable time? Why are we waiting 4 years for Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 when you could just port it within like 6 to 12 months at most and still not lose a cent on console sales?
Right.
That's the ultimate question. Like, people have shown they're willing to buy those games twice to experience them at Steam, and part of that's because you got mods, you got uncapped frame rates, things like that. So I think Sony is both in the most precarious and best position. Funny enough, after that announcement, Nintendo was just thrilled. Nintendo's like, great. They do not have a product that is going to be cheaper than the Switch 2.
Yeah.
That thing is going to be at least $300 more than the Switch 2.
Well, that also means like the Switch 2 or the games have to like now have to aim lower in terms of specs, right? And that benefits the Switch 2 immensely.
Well, and we were saying that during Switch 2 preview pods,
yeah,
right? Over on Boss Rush, you and I were saying that we're going for optimization now. Like, we've kind of hit a plateau in graphics. There was not as big of a jump from last gen to this gen as there traditionally has been.
Yeah.
It's evident now, but like the jump from Switch to Switch 2 is evident. That's clear because you're basically going from like 2010 technology to a Series S.
Yeah.
So I do think that aiming lower is going to help a little bit. I've seen people be like, well, it's because they got aim for Steam Deck too. Like, not necessarily. Like, the Switch 2 has already outsold the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So we're not,
so crazy.
I'm not going to sit here and I don't even think it's that crazy, honestly. I mean, it's the appeal of the Nintendo first party.
No, I mean, like,
Steam Deck is, and I know you're not saying this, but I need people to understand that the comparison is not a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck is a complementary device to those in the Steam ecosystem. Like, the Ally X is going to be for people who are really ingrained in Xbox and PC gaming. This is going to be the thing that gets a lot of console gamers, though, I think, into PC gaming.
Yeah, that's what Laurent and I were talking about the other day.
But only if the price is appropriate.
I said, look, I mean, even if the X is not, like, the Ally is clearly the cheap one that they want to get.
Sure.
Right. So
sure. But, and I mean, I get it. Like, also, people like you and me are the ones who want the high end one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, like, if you already have a ROG Ally, this update is being pushed out to those regular or normal ones also.
The other thing I want to note is, like, this is not a mandatory device. This is like the PS5 Pro. This is a luxury device. This is a thing that if you have the money, it will be a great addition to your arsenal. I think there are some very specific instances where this is going to be just an awesome product to own.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to our friend Ray, who travels a lot for work, and he's very excited for this. He already almost always he likes his Steam Deck, but he says he takes his ROG Ally with him a lot because of the access to Game Pass and Play Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, now you're telling me, and he's still running the launch day ROG Ally. He's like, you're telling me I'm going to have this now? Great. I'd rather upgrade to this. Like, He's like, not that I wouldn't go for a Steam Deck 2 the second it comes out, but he was like, because he's like, I have a huge Steam library because I love the idea of having everything together, and those specs are going to be better, at least initially, than the Steam Deck. He's like, but with 24 gigs of RAM, what is that battery power and what does that price point look like?
Right. It also depends on like what resolution you're going to run at, because I think the screen is only 720p. The screen.
I don't know off the top of my head.
So I'm sure that but the thing though too is like it has that mode where it turns off all the Windows features so it can optimize the games, right? So
yeah, they said that the Ally X will launch with that as the default mode.
Yeah.
That if you want the Windows stuff, you have to go in and figure it out yourself, essentially. You gotta go in and turn it on.
Which is awesome for me because I don't want to have to figure it out the other way.
Okay, the display is a 7-inch 1080p screen that can go at 120 hertz refresh. So your mileage may vary there. I do suspect that it sounds like the SSD is going to be just like the ROG Ally now. You can upgrade your SSD.
Mm-hmm.
So this was another thing that we were talking about because I don't really care about the I don't necessarily care about the impulse triggers.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, man, if the price difference is that drastic, like, okay, maybe I can upgrade the RAM and the SSD on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Was something I was thinking, but I don't know if I want to fool with that. Also, like, just, man, the ports, you get USB 4 Type C on the premium one. It's like, man, that might be enough right there for me, honestly, when I think about it.
Yeah.
The bigger battery, I don't know. I need to see the price because right now the premium ROG Ally is priced at like $800. Or
so
900.
It's
$800 or 900.
$899, but if you want the 2 terabyte one, it's $999.
Yeah, well, luckily we don't have that problem here. I do wonder if Xbox subsidizes this just a little bit to make it a little bit cheaper. These things also go on sale all the time.
Yeah, I think I saw the base one on sale at Best Buy for like $350 at some point.
The original Ally one.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, the original one.
Because I almost bought it, and Ray was like, "Don't buy anything that doesn't have the Extreme processor in it."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it genuinely is like a game changer. He's like, I've played with both, and he's like, you want that better chip.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which I think both of these have that, right?
I have the specs pulled up right here. Nope. One of them has the base one has the Z2A, and the premium one has the AI Z2 Extreme. So, this is something that I very much see as like, if I were to buy one of these, I'm not gonna like upgrade in the first year or something, in the first couple of years. This would very much be a, hey, I'm taking this on the go thing. Maybe I'll upgrade it like every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
My only hesitation with buying one right away is I can almost guarantee you there's going to be a 25th anniversary Xbox one next year.
Oh yeah.
Or a Halo one for the CE remake. And that's what makes me go, oh my God, am I going to go into another cycle of will I, won't I with buying one of these for like the 3rd or 4th year in a row?
I can see it too. It's going to be like they're going to make some sort of like silver one or something.
This will not be something that I buy right away. Like as much as I've talked about wanting one, I will hold off because I want to see how it holds up under battery tests. I want to see how it holds up resolution wise. I want the reviews to come. I want people to test run this for me before I go buy one.
Yeah.
And I want to see if they're going to announce a special one. If they don't announce a special one by like next September, I'm buying one. I'll give it almost a year on the market before I decide to cave and buy one. But I will have one of these in hand before the CE remake.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's a Halo one, they're going to announce it way before then, right? I would assume at the latest the summer showcase next year.
I mean, we got the Infinite Xbox announced 2 months before launch at Gamescom. Because that bad boy got announced and went up for sale the next afternoon.
Yeah, but they're this is a partner product though, so I would imagine you would have to
maybe.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe not.
maybe not. But the last bit of that report that we got today is that they are still going to make internal. I know this is Tower Casuals, not Xbox Casuals. Bear with me.
That's fine.
They
know
found out they are going to put out a next generation Xbox that will still be internally developed, but they are leaving the door open for Asus to make one as well, which kind of leads to what we've been suspecting, that they'll still make a console, but after this, it's going to be like partner products, which both is kind of exciting and just kind of shit. I'm excited for it because of the customization it would allow you to do. It's basically going to be a TV PC is all it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be what the Steam box was supposed to be. I think that, there'll be ways to upgrade it fairly easily for the people who just want the convenience. They don't want to do it with a PC. The big thing will be, is it going to be like the Ally? Will it have Steam on it? That's the number one question right now. If it has Steam on it, great. I'll continue buying Xbox branded products.
I imagine the Xbox built one will be more for the Xbox console centric people, and the Asus one will be more of a PC style like
bridging the gap.
Yeah, like the Steam box, I guess.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out, because bringing this all back to Destiny, you can't play on the Steam Deck without a workaround. Mm-hmm. That's because it's a Linux device. This is not. This is a Windows handheld. You can play it on the ROG Ally perfectly fine. So I do want to know how games like that perform on this. This also is apparently coming with a dock already, like a cradle, and I assume that hooks up to your TV or monitor. So if it does, I want to see how that goes. Now, you'll be limited to, at most, 120 frames. So it would really be not too different from a console experience at that point.
Right, but if you don't have that back catalog of 360 and original Xbox games, and you have a Game Pass, like, do most people that aren't already invested in Xbox care about not accessing that? I don't know.
No, they do not. So, but we look forward to talking about the Ally X as it comes out. We'll talk about it on both shows, obviously. But yeah, it was a fun showcase weekend. No mention of Bungie, though, which leads me into Jiggly Panda's question from 2 weeks ago.
Jiggly Panda
asked us a question 2 weeks ago. I want to get to it. I said that we were going to hold it. Let me scroll up and find it. Do you think Bungie would have been in the news less if they had let Destiny stay under the Activision umbrella? No. Activision. I gotta plug this book. It's a great book. I know that his name is like the boogeyman to some of y'all, but Jason Schreier, his book, Play Anywhere, or Play Nice, not Play Anywhere. God, I've said that on so many shows this week. Play Nice, History of Blizzard and its games, is an incredible read. It's Jason's third book. We've plugged the other two relentlessly on here. He's one of the best reporters that's ever covered the industry. Has an awesome chapter on Destiny in his first book, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. And then in this one, he goes into all the troubles at Activision, specifically at Blizzard. But there's a couple chapters in there. Really, the last third of the book is about Bobby Kotick's incompetence. And that one of the great fumbles was letting Bungie go because, they weren't getting resources and they weren't being given appropriate deadlines. And as we've come to figure out, Bungie has its own demons that it's battling, right, with its upper leadership, people who have been in charge of this company for years and years and years at this point. Well, that's a whole nother thing entirely. But no, they'd still be in the news. Like, this shit would have come out. The Attorney General of California was investigating Blizzard. And that spread to the rest of Activision. They were investigating them. It would have come out. Now, it would have come out a lot sooner, but the value of Bungie would have tanked. You've seen what it did to Blizzard. It's taken Blizzard years. I would argue their value still isn't remotely close to what it used to be.
Oh, no.
That whole scandal is what triggered Phil Spencer to be able to buy them.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think they'd be in the news any less. They arguably would have been in it more, and it would have been more mainstream news because they were a part of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess they were and they weren't. They technically were never an Activision studio. They were just published by Activision, but they got support from like High Moon and Vicarious Visions is really what they got. Bungie was never truly an Activision studio. They had a 10-year publishing deal with them is what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they weaseled their way out of and got out of. And we all bought into the hype and rah, rah, rah. And well, look where we are like 6 years later. It is important to note they probably would not have been able to keep the support from High Moon. We already know they would have lost Vicarious Visions anyways. Vicarious Visions became the developer on the Diablo 2 remake and then eventually on seasonal content and the expansions for Diablo 4. I don't think they would have been able to keep support. Maybe High Moon would have still supported them, but I doubt they would have gone on to support Call of Duty or Warzone at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't actually think there was too much benefit there. I don't think they had the creative freedom that they wanted, as we've clearly had. I mean, we've covered the story on here before. They were ready to pull the plug on Destiny 2 after Forsaken, and that's what led to them buying their way out.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said, Activision was like, we don't care about the reviews. By the numbers, this was a failure. It sold less than Destiny 2 at launch did. Which is an insane metric, by the way. You're expecting an expansion to sell like 10 million copies.
Yeah.
So, and you're not giving the developers time to breathe. That was always the complaint about Taken King and Rise of Iron. Like, Rise of Iron was just thrown together because they needed another year of content. Like, Activision very reluctantly gave them an extra year to work on Destiny 2.
Which is crazy, because you think about how much people already didn't really care for vanilla Destiny all that much.
Yeah, it was supposed to go D1 expansion, D2 expansion, D3 expansion, D4 expansion. We would be on Destiny 5 right now. If we were still underneath Activision, we'd be at least on Destiny 5. So going by their original release model, that's where we would have been.
Oh, man.
Which
Destiny
is just
5.
an absolute catastrophe to think about.
I mean, we're on Black Ops 7, so... You know,
at least those have been going since like 2009, though.
I know.
I don't love that. I think that's hilarious, but God, that being your one more thing, what a catastrophe. But
do you think there was supposed to be something else there and it just wasn't ready?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be Fable. I'm 99% certain. I've said this repeatedly. I think Fable was supposed to be the showcase at the end, hence why they had a real trailer for Outer Worlds already ready to go. I think that was locked and loaded months ago. I think it was supposed to be Fable to close that show, and when Fable didn't, they were like, okay, fine, we'll give Phil this line to say about, oh, Fable's coming next year, and blah, 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 and like, wouldn't be shocked to see it at Gamescom, if you want me to be honest, but it's clear they don't want to show it just yet. And that's fine. Just to give us that awesome trailer, though, that had like, it had like Remedy and Inception vibes and all that.
I was
I went back and watched the trailer a couple more times. I showed it to Chelsea. I watched it with a friend, and I was like, I don't hate this trailer. I think this trailer is awesome. It's a two-pronged approach, though. It's the fact that one, this was your one more thing. If this had opened the show with just a smidge of gameplay, it's just a smidge of the, like, teasing the wall running, I think people would have gone nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But this ended it, and it was Black Ops 7 on top of that. Like, really, your one more thing is an annualized franchise. Cool. You could have and should have ended with Clockwork Revolution, but I digress. Corey, because let me tell you something. Bungie is such a wreck right now. They're such a wreck. Like, the one positive thing is if they had stayed under Activision, we probably wouldn't have Marathon.
That's probably true.
But I also don't know if we would still have Bungie. So, like, they wanted them to keep pumping out games. We've said, when we did the special episode last week and we talked about some of the initial wave of videos, as I've now learned, there's a lot more videos from the people who got to go there. We have learned that this is essentially Destiny 3 and everything but name. And that's cool. I'm glad. This is a huge reset for the game. It sounds really fun. It sounds really exciting. We got some more things to talk about tonight that were in this week's Schwab, but I think you would have lost the player base if you had done a Destiny 3. when Activision wanted it, you would have lost the player base.
Oh, when Activision wanted it? Yeah.
Yes, when Activision wanted it. That being said, do I think that we should have gotten a Destiny 3 at some point? Should Edge of Fate technically be named Destiny 3? Yes. It's the idea of marketing a Destiny 3, though. I think that a lot of veteran players would just be like, nah, I'm good. You're going to leave all this content behind. You're going to leave all our vaults behind. We're not all our cosmetics. We're not doing this again.
Yeah, I think
reinvent yourself every couple of expansions like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 do.
Yeah, I think that's just the quote unquote MMO way now, is like you just have to reinvent yourself, and you have to wait like 15 or 20 years before you release a sequel at this point. You know, like, I mean,
I'm not even gonna say that. Like, World of Warcraft has never released a sequel.
I know. I'm talking about like Final Fantasy 7 or Guild Wars 2 or something, or 11 and 14 and Guild Wars 2, and but I mean, even that's antiquated, right?
I mean, EverQuest had a sequel,
and it went away before the original.
Yeah, it just you always search the sequel not being as good as the original. And listen, I'm still nostalgic for Destiny 1 as well. All right, don't get me wrong, guys. Destiny 2 is better in every single way. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's better in every way. The only thing that isn't better is Trials, and that's because Trials was strictly on console, and it was significantly less cheaters. It was the only way that anything was better.
But Josh, what about the new player experience?
Oh God, the new player experience was significantly better in 1 also. I will say that. I still think that is a huge problem. They're clearly trying to address it in some fashion here, but I still don't love it.
I mean, how do you even do it at this point?
That's the problem. Like, this game is so unwelcoming to new players. We've talked about this a lot. Edge of Fate, I think, is going to try to remedy that. But, like, you're jumping in after all the stuff from the Light and Dark saga.
Right. So, like, how do you do that? Like, what? I mean,
this could have all been avoided if they would have just left. If they would have just left the Cosmodrome, this all could have been avoided. If they had just left the original couple of missions from there that teach you how to use your Sparrow and teach you how to do shit, and maybe at the end of all that, you fly to the fucking tower, and that's what kicks off the Red War campaign. I will continue to say this. I think taking the Red War and Forsaken campaigns out of this game was a huge mistake. I'll continue to say that till the end of time. Yes, you could have left them in, trimmed them down. We've been over this a million times. You could have trimmed that easily down to like 8 core missions. Like that
could have been like a set of 10 missions from both those campaigns. Like could have been the new player experience.
Honestly, you could have just left the Forsaken campaign as it was for the most part.
Yeah,
leave the Baron hunts in there, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, the Red War campaign probably could have been condensed into 5 missions, because like you don't need to set up patrols. You don't need to.
No, I would argue you probably still need to do pretty much everything that happens in the EDZ, just because it sets up the resistance.
Yeah,
and like gives Hawthorne's character the arc. You probably do. I think you do 2 missions on each planet after that, and then you culminate in taking the city back.
Yeah,
in one of the coolest missions, at least in early Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Like probably between then and Witch Queen, that was one of the coolest missions, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I still think the Homecoming mission is awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the perfect opening mission. So, and again, like you could have done all the stuff in the out in the wild, and then you come to the tower and bam, you're hit with that.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about people being in 2 different towers or anything. Great.
Yeah.
Okay? Hey, play through the campaign to get access to the tower. That's all you tell them. And it's like 8 quick missions. It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, guys? Other MMOs do this. Okay?
Yeah.
But instead you're throwing people in because you're so desperate to get them playing with their friends, and that's fine. Make the campaign give it the scaling difficulty that you have now. I know now it's way easier to say that. Give it the scaling difficulty, let players just blow through it, and then bam, after like 3 hours, you're there with your friends. Okay. Yeah. Every single MMO has tutorials you have to go through and has opening levels you have to go through before you can get in and start playing.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem. I don't know why it's so controversial.
It should be faster anyway.
I feel like it's only this difficult because were catering to a crowd of players who, up until very recently, were predominantly console players. And this is a experience. This is an MMO that was built for console players.
Yeah.
And it didn't learn how to evolve with its player base was part of the issue. It tried so hard to level up with like the top 5%, but it left all new players that could possibly jump in behind. And it is, the amount of content is overwhelming if you are a new player now. You have like 8 campaigns. There's no direction to what order should they be played in.
Right.
And I mean, the addition of Stasis, Strand, and Prismatic have made it to where you have to go do those campaigns first.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do? Like just leave Witch Queen there because it doesn't have a subclass in it? It's the best campaign.
Yeah.
Or second best behind the Final Shape.
Yeah, but
if someone was getting in for the very first time, I would tell them honestly, I would be like, skip Shadowkeep, even though I think it has some crucial story setup. Skip Shadowkeep, go straight to Beyond Light. Go straight into Beyond Light.
Yeah.
Is where I would tell them to start. Because Forsaken's not there, otherwise it'd be like, just play everything in order.
Yeah.
But nope, go there, get Stasis. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to unlock everything. Go ahead and get Stasis. Play through the Witch Queen, play through Lightfall, as tedious as parts of it's gonna be. Get your Strand subclass, and while you're working on Stasis and Strand, hey, go get Prismatic while you're at it.
Yeah.
And work through the campaign. Work through all the campaigns before you start worrying about, just do them on the base difficulty. You don't have to do them on Legendary right away. Do them on the base difficulty, and then go back, get your subclass, finish your subclasses up, start your exotic quests, do some dungeons, do some raids. Like, that's when you should be doing it. There is enough content there that if you are a new player buying this for like $30 on sale, you'll be set for 6-7 months.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much content there.
Yeah, and if you're a PlayStation Plus member, like, you should have all the campaigns up to this point already.
Yeah, as long as you haven't let your sub lapse like me and forgot to claim a couple. Yeah, sure.
But they're on I think you just have them.
I don't know. I have to check on that because PS Plus, I know for a long time worked like Games with Gold did, where if your Gold sub ever lapsed, you lost access to those games. I think PS Plus works the same way.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you have PS Plus and you didn't claim them, you forgot to claim them, I think you still have them. Because I never claimed to be on Lite on PlayStation, and I have it somehow.
It's part of the library now. They added the Forsaken pack with Beyond Light and Shadowkeep in it to PS Plus, just like part of the sub. It wasn't one you had to claim. Witch Queen and Lightfall you had to actually claim. And Final Shape, I believe. You had to claim all those. The other one is not claimed. The other one is basically like a starter pack in PS Plus. That's just there as part of the library now, like as it should be. I'm still a believer that if it's more than 2 years old, it should be free. So take the ESO approach, man. Like they've got 26 million. They've had 26 million players. Like they're doing something right over there, I guess.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. But I'm not here to just complain about Destiny and its circumstances. We do actually have some really cool stuff. I want to talk a little bit about Prophecy. The final Rite of the Nine dungeon, maybe my favorite changes in the entire thing. I finally got to see the fabled change to Final Encounter, and man, I think it's awesome. I really like that in the in-between area between encounters 1 and 2 when you're heading to the cube room, that the big Minotaur is where there's some big ones. There's some big ones that you can kill, and then there's some big ones that are invincible. You can't kill them until you've dropped all 3 sets of lights, and then you can take them down. I think that's a really cool, like, little mini encounter. It does reward a chest when you find the cube room afterwards. And then in the cube room, there is our old friend from the Infinite Forest running around, which on Ultimatum was a little more annoying than I wanted it to be. I will also add that my Ultimatum experience was done with attrition last week. It was not done with chaff, which is on this week. Of course, that's what takes your radar away. I think that's the mod of this week. Disclaimer, I have not done a Ultimatum run yet this week, so I could be spewing complete bullshit right now. But attrition was last week, and attrition was a pain in the ass at times. I got through the first and second encounter. It took us like 2 tries. I think that's just because like we fucked up on a rotation once or twice. Mm-hmm. The Sparrow race has a very interesting change here. When you're doing it, you have to constantly hit the Tolans to extend your timer.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Tolans out there, so you have to be jumping between the ribbons and everything. I thought that was a very fun change there. I thought that was really interesting. You get to a certain point, though, when they turn off. Basically, you get to the end before you go down the final slope. Go back, grab your chest, and things of that nature. Final encounter, though. I really like final encounter. So you go down, you dunk like normal, and when you go into the long hallway of death where you're getting the blights thrown at you, there are platforms to dunk on that will extend your DPS phase. This is a really, really, really cool mechanic, and I really enjoyed it. Now, if you get hit by the blight here, you're pretty much fucked. It took almost all my health away, and I had to haul ass to get back up there. I cost us a couple of runs because I wasn't really paying attention to my entropy. So definitely watch out for that. The one phase, definitely a little challenging. You need the bolt charge barricades, I feel, to be doing the one phase effectively, and you probably need multiple Titans with bolt charge barricades. But I think we got him down to about a fifth or a quarter on our first run, and then we had to do a second run. We obviously had to go back in and do a second phase, and just downed him almost immediately. So that was cool. That was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that. That boss room actually felt deadly for the first time since I think the month that it came out. It's large. It's long been a joke. I thought it was a really cool change, though, and it made me actually fear that boss again. I would not say that this was as hard as... I think Ghost is the hardest one. I'm going to be really real. I think Ghost is still the hardest one. I've done 2 of the 3 on attrition now on Ultimatum, and I definitely have to say that I think Spire with attrition was harder than this one with attrition. I think it's simply because I've done Prophecy so many times that I'm way more familiar with it, and the areas are a bit smaller. I found when the areas are smaller and you have attrition, it's easier to get those heals. It's easier to get those heal clip kills and like pop your grenades and your healing turrets and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it was too bad. In terms of the Ultimatum ones, this is definitely the easiest. I would say, it goes Ghost, Spire, and then Prophecy is, to me, far and away the easiest one. That does not mean, and I have been asked to clarify this by people in Discord, that does not mean that this is an easy activity. That means that this was the one that I felt was the less strenuous. I should also clarify, I did my runs with some very, very, very skilled people who, were showing me ways to stay alive and stay moving in there. So I would definitely clarify that as, hey, I'm not saying that this is easy at all. I'm saying that I had a semi-easy time in some of the encounters. I do that final encounter, though, when you start out in the triangle room, mm-hmm. You have to take down one of those corners so quickly just to have a place to get for cover. It is very stressful until then. I think that's probably the most stressful 2 minutes of the entire dungeon right there.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I think every dungeon has its easy encounters. I think they have their hard encounters. I would say that all 3 encounters in Ghosts were more difficult than any of the 3 here. Obviously, first encounter is a joke here. First encounter is a joke. Second encounter is mostly a joke if you just take care of business with the snipers. Mm-hmm. That's your biggest problem. And then I actually don't think the boss was that bad. It would have been easier with extra bolt charge barricades, but we were still frying him anyways.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of Ghosts encounters are probably the respective hardest counters in the dungeons. That final boss on Spire definitely is, to me, that's the second or third hardest encounter in among the 9 real encounters. That's probably like second or third on my power rankings, behind the Ghosts final boss and the second boss in Ghosts. So, and I mean, again, it all depends on the modifiers you have in a given week too. Like, some runs are going to be way easier. Like, I have done it pretty much each week that it's been out. I've done an ultimatum run, and I gotta say, man, like, attrition and I think brawn is the other one, are by far the 2 worst. By far. Like, the others don't even compare. I'd rather have the one where I have to keep moving, frankly. I'd rather have that. Obviously, I'd rather have the radar turned off. It's not like we're in Vespers and the radar is turned off for us or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just, by and large, I think this has been a really good event. I hope that Explorer mode has been getting people into dungeoning more, maybe getting you a little bit more familiar with the end game. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I would love for that to be a mainstay going forward. I don't know that it will be, but I think it should be. I don't want to see it show up for things like Pantheon, but I think it should be there for dungeons going forward, once the dungeon's been out for maybe like a week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, the main thing we care about is the loot. We care about loot. We care about loot, Corey.
We do care about the loot, Josh.
We care about the loot. Let me pull up my vault here real fast. Let me pull up old Dim.
There will be loot,
so that I know what I'm talking about without sounding like an asshole.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Nothing is organized in Dim, of course.
Why would you, Josh?
Trying to find my weapons for this week. All right, so Relentless is the pulse rifle you can get. I'm still trying to find a role that I'm really in love with on this pulse. I do like Relentless. I like 340s quite a bit. You guys have heard me talk about my love for Messenger over the years, so I'm a big fan of this one. I would say right now in my pole position, Firefly Desperado is pretty high up there for me in terms of ones that I have. I do have a rapid hit hatchling, don't like that nearly as much. Firefly Elemental Honing, don't really love that. It's not bad, but don't really love it. And I would definitely say that Firefly Desperado is in the lead right now, but Tear Headseeker is one that I'm looking forward to playing around with a little bit for sure. Overall, just it's a solid pulse. It's a solid strand pulse if you don't have one. I think it's a really good one to go get. Just have it sitting around for a rainy day. I like that one. Other weapons that dropped in this, Sudden Death, I know, is one that a lot of folks are chasing right now. I did get the Adept 1-2 punch trench barrel roll, non-shiny, so I still got to get back in the trenches, but I did get that, and then I also got a Discord redirection on it. So I do like that. I won't be using it for the builds that A1 Johnny will be, but I'm glad that roll is in there. I also got Threat Detector Opening Shot, which I think is going to be fun in, as a PvP role. Looking forward to using that one a little bit. Is that it? Oh my god, did I get 2 with that roll on it? I think I might have gotten 2 of those. Jesus. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Whew. I thought I got 2 of that roll. Ready to make a few people very upset. I do not have the hand cannon yet. I do not believe Judgment has dropped for me. I might have gotten a Judgment, but I didn't really care about Judgment, I'll say that. That one doesn't really interest me. I am interested in the auto, and I've only gotten one. Basically, all my drops were the shotgun during it, and then all my drops after were me focusing the pulse, trying to get a shiny. But I did get a roll on Prosecutor. I got Ricochet, Dragonfly, and Volt Shot. I am looking forward to playing with this. 450s aren't the greatest in the world, but I do think that they can be a solid option. I think it's probably, 720s and maybe 450s come after. I don't really love where 600s are personally for auto rifles. That's going to be fun to play around with, and I think that's it. I really don't think I've gotten a judgment to drop, unfortunately. I'd like to be able to talk about it. I just can't. I'm also just not I'm not a hand cannon guy, sadly. So, something else I got this week, though, completely unrelated to the dungeon. After all this time, it's done. I have every exotic in the game. Euphony finally dropped for me.
What?
I have done a bunch of checkpoints trying to get this. I have not done nearly as many as people were doing for Vex Mythoclast. I feel way less bad that it took me like several weeks of checkpoints to get this and several full runs, but I probably have done, 18, 19 witness clears trying to get this, and that's not as bad as some people for their Mythoclast or for Buried Bloodline or things like that. But someone who doesn't have a ton of time to raid, really annoying. So getting those witness checkpoints in has been really fun. Finally have that. Glad to have every exotic now, and in a month that all goes away, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for right now, I'm going to celebrate that I have done that. Let's shift into the TWABs a little bit here. There's not much from last week that we didn't already cover. I think I went through basically everything last week that was in that TWAB. I'm flying through and making sure. And we talked about Prismatic. We talked about all that. I believe, did we talk about... There is a rotation calendar up for the Adepts before Edge of Fate launches. I would encourage you guys to go look at that. The remaining ones in order starting from this week, the week we are currently in, are Shadow Price, Palindrome, Plug One, Lotus Eater, and Wild Style. And then for Trials, it's going to be Keen Thistle. Iron Banner will be happening starting on the 17th, so there will be no weapon that week. Then Tomorrow's Answer, Shayura's Wrath, and Aisha's Care lead us straight up to the Edge of Fate. So, just so you guys are aware of that. But I guess we should shift back to dungeons just a little bit here. We're not too much this week, honestly, outside of what we've already tackled, and we do have another question to answer before the end of the show. But there's going to be an update to rewards for Rite of the Nine. Now we're getting into the fun part of the loot for this event. From now through July 15th, completing all encounters in any Rite of the Nine dungeon in a single run will award extra drops from the final boss. Completing all encounters in any dungeon at Eternity or Ultimatum difficulty in a single run will award an armor piece. These are on a knockout list. Each clear will grant a new armor piece until you've completed your set, which would explain why I got the cloak from Ghost of the Deep, which was the only armor piece I was missing out of any dungeon. I finally got that to drop. Yeah, I was like, hey, why'd I get this armor piece? And that's when I found that out.
Nice.
From June 17th to June 24th, increased currency drops will be active for all dungeons. Very excited for that, because let me tell you something. I'm looking forward to the new way to spend this currency. More on that in just a second. From June 24th until June 8th, all dungeons are available, and one will have increased currency rewards and a chance for weapons to drop from enemy kills, as well as increased loot from the final boss chest when completing all encounters in the featured dungeon, going in order of Spire, Ghosts, Prophecy. Starting June 24th, the Emissary will offer a handful of exotics for players to begin looking to round out their exotic weapon arsenal. More will be added each week through the Edge of Fate's launch. This is one that I was a little curious about. I went digging to see if I could find it. I think it's mainly going to be ones from like older content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many more they're going to hand out from Dungeons and Raids, because last year during Pantheon, you had the opportunity to get basically all the associated exotics. This year during Rite of the Nine, you had the opportunity to get Navigator or Hierarchy of Needs. I see people hoping for 1K or for, things like Anarchy and this and that. I think it's going to be a lot of stuff that's just available in the terminal or that's been available at Xur. Mm-hmm. I could see it being things that are just available through the kiosk that Xur does not sell or has never sold, such as Anarchy. I don't think it's going to include things like 1K, Mythoclast, or Euphony. I do not think. I'm willing to eat my words, but I don't think they're going to hand those out. Euphony, because it's so new. They were giving out Conditional Finality a year after it came out, so who fucking knows? I've seen a lot of people hoping for Buried Bloodline. I could see it being some of the old dungeon exotics that have been around for a while. Maybe Buried Bloodline is one of those. More specifically, I could see the sword from Duality. Its name is eluding me right now. I could see that being one of them potentially. I think that was the first one with an exotic tied to it. So I could see that happening. I could see. Well, we already got Hierarchy of Needs. We've already got Navigator. I mean, maybe Buried Bloodline is one of them, but I just have no idea. So I was seeing some people guessing Anarchy, Teraba, 1K, maybe Eyes. But I could see stuff like Anarchy, because Anarchy is a vaulted dungeon. That and Teraba, or vaulted raid. I could see that in Teraba being two that they cough up pretty quickly. Maybe Acrius.
Maybe.
So I could see those. But I think Acrius can be sold at Xur. I don't know off the top of my head. So
I feel like you can get Acrius from somewhere.
Well, I mean, you can go get any of these at the kiosk. That's the thing.
Right,
like
you can get. I forgot that you can buy these.
Yeah, things. You can get literally any of these from the kiosk. So that's why I'm like questioning, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What does this even mean? So we'll see.
Maybe if you don't want to, like, I don't know, because some of those exotics cost a lot of resources, and maybe
it's an MMO. Get over it. Listen. Buying it from the kiosk has to be so much less painful than those of us who grind it out for these, right? So I'm not ultra bothered if somebody has to go spend a bunch of currency. And likewise, if you're going to do it here, fine.
I'm just saying that this is the alternative to spending resources, I guess.
I mean, you're going to be doing grinding one way or another. More will be added each week through the Edge of Fate launch, so who knows what this means. From July 8th through July 15th, Lootapalooza. Increased currency rewards and weapon drops from enemies in all dungeons, and even more increased loot from the final boss chest when completing all encounters. However, you guys want to know about how we're going to get to spend these manifolds. Well, more of them at least. Introducing Naneri Engrams. Starting July 1st, a new item will be available at the Emissary. Naneri Engrams. This engram is filled to the brim with hand-picked cosmetic rewards spanning multiple years of Destiny 2 content. Some are newer, like hollow chips, while some are a blast from the past, like Crimson Days emotes. So how do you earn these? Starting July 1st, players may purchase Naneri engrams using 350 Naneri manifolds at the Emissary, up to 20 during Rite of the Nine. You can only buy 20 of these. That's insane to me. Starting July 8th, players will be awarded one additional Naneri engram each day just for signing in. Just make sure to claim it from the Emissary. So there is already a list inside the API of what can drop. And I want to be very, very clear on some of this. There are, if this all holds, there are 5 exotic ornaments. I think I own all 5 of these. There is the Guardian Games skimmer from last year. I believe that's at least a Guardian Games skimmer. There are 4 finishers, it looks like. There are 6 exotic emotes. Again, I think most of us have these. There are 3 legendary emotes, 5 exotic ghost shells, 5 exotic ships, 5 exotic sparrows, 2 transmat effects, and 2 hollow chips. So I really, 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 did I say really? Really hope that they're on a knockout system. There are some items in here that have only ever been available for silver, too, by the way. So I do find it very funny, though, that I have an insane amount of this stuff. Like a truly disgusting amount of this stuff I have. So I'm not super thrilled.
You do play more than the average player, though, Josh.
I do, and I mean, in my defense, a lot of these ornaments have been around for years. The ornaments are for weapons. Queensbreaker, Outbreak Perfected. The Outbreak Perfected ornament, funny enough, I think that is a silver-only ornament because I bought it for silver back when I got Outbreak. It was in a silver-only bundle at the time. There is a Dead Man's Tale one, there is a 1K Voices, there's a Ruinous Effigy, and there is a Microcosm one. In the ships space, I don't really know what to tell you about these other than people are really excited that Death to Kells is one of these. So
Death to Kells, no way.
That is one that has not, I don't think has ever been made available to purchase. Okay, so I was looking to see if somebody had mapped out all of those. I do find it very funny that one of the top comments on this Reddit thread says, well, it didn't take long to lose interest.
Jeez.
Apparently that may be the Gallarhorn skimmer, not the Guardian Games one. So the finishers alone being in there are a pretty big deal to me. I expect them to have the lowest drop rates, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything that is silver only or has historically been silver only will have just such abysmally low drop rates.
Yeah. So I just looked up the Death to Kells jump ship, and I don't see anything special about this, but okay.
It's something that has never been made available for anything other than silver. People really wanted it for a long time. It's a catch. That's why they want it. So,
okay.
You gotta think long-time players, they want their cosmetics.
I'm still flying around my Mass Effect ship, so
it's unfortunate.
Is it? Ship's awesome.
It's unfortunate.
I really just don't feel like changing it out. I'm too lazy.
Sounds about right. The Crimson Day stuff has actually been out of the game since they took Crimson Days out. They've never made it available in the shop. So I think stuff like that is pretty cool. I like that. I've seen people argue there should have been seasonal armor ornaments in there. Again, I really hope this is all just on a knockout system or just like give me Bright Dust. Mm-hmm. One of the two. So
one of the two.
Yep. Overall, it's really, really cool. That Outbreak ornament is awesome, by the way. That's the one I've been using for like 5 years now. Like when did we get Outbreak in the game for the first time? 2019.
Something like that.
Since early 2019, I think that I've just left that equipped. I don't think I've ever taken it off Outbreak. It's awesome. I've bought like every Outbreak ornament. I just always come back to that one. It's called Patient Zero. It has moving Siva across it.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. It's like decayed from Siva. It's so fucking cool. It's one of the best armor ornaments in the game, or weapon ornaments in the game.
I think that's the one that I have equipped currently on it. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So happy about that. Okay, so the official description of the engram says engrams containing past Eververse items you do not own yet. So that makes me really hopeful that everything that I get is stuff I do not have yet. In before a monkey's paw curls and they give me 20 hollow chips. I'd be very upset. I do agree with some of the comments I'm seeing that some of the 9 themed armor ornaments from year 1 should have been included in this. I do agree with that. I think this is a great opportunity to bring like a lot of stuff like that back. But
yeah.
Whew. All right. So with that being said, there's more videos from content creators. We mentioned that at the top of the show. I would advise you guys to go check out some of this stuff because I have not yet. I don't know if you gathered this. It's been a really busy week around here.
What?
I will be watching some of these as soon as we log off, though, and taking notes for next show, which should be a pretty busy show because we have a live stream that week that we know about. Really hoping that there's not more stuff next week. I'm hoping there is and isn't. Datto has a FAQ up essentially. Like things. No new supers. Is Kepler big? Datto, is it even good? Milo has an interview with Allison Lewis, the narrative director, and Robbie Stevens, the assistant game director. Mactix has one with Tyson Green, the current game director for D2. That's the one I'm most excited to go watch. Probably will be the only one of those three that I will watch, if we're being honest. Benny has a build crafting video, new stats in build crafting. That'll be a cool one to check out. And is that? Oh, yes, the return of Not Forgotten. Walla's got a video up on that, and then Rick Kakis has one on the top 5 biggest changes. So cool. I'm really excited for that Mactix video, though. Like, no bullshit. I'm genuinely really excited for that. We did get our old friend Ronnie writing in about his thoughts on the changes. He wrote this in last week after we did the quick pod when I was just exhausted and trying to read from my notes verbatim. Is TLDR. I want to read everything that Ronnie says because I think Ronnie and I are largely on the same page here. This is actually laying the foundations of Destiny 3 without it being called Destiny 3, I feel. In all aspects, gameplay, lore, structure, this is the perfect place to do this. Resetting power levels does multiple things for everyone involved. It lets Bungie create new stuff without the power creep. Lore-wise, it lets us keep the things we earned over the years, but also keeps us somewhat weak going into a new saga with unknown enemies. New player-wise, there isn't the big Christmas tree of lights going off overwhelming them. That is referring specifically to my comments about the director, I believe, where I was like just bummed that was being taken away. After talking with a lot of people this week, I definitely see both sides of it. I like the idea of the director because I'm really nostalgic, but I also know where to look. Mm-hmm. So even I have gotten lost looking for things. So yeah, these menus are probably going to be a good thing. I get overwhelmed by menus though. So this is the foundation, so everything isn't going to happen right away, and some things might land, some things might not. This gives them a chance to call audibles and roll something back or even implement something new, like the events tab, such as heavy metal or armor days. As a hardcore player, the balance is what will be key for me. Notice I didn't say hardcore good player, LOL, but the balance for casuals and hardcores alike. I think it's the way to keep D2 alive and especially healthy and ever-changing. Hyped about all new things and looking forward to new saga and journey. Deep thoughts from a shallow mind. Ronnie. So, yeah, Ronnie, I think you're on the same page as us. I definitely agree with you. I definitely would consider myself in more of that like hardcore area than I was, 5-6 years ago when I was just getting back into the game and I was definitely more casual. Like I definitely would consider myself on that level too. Regularly, I finish my season pass every single season. I'm usually ranked 200 by the end. I'm completing things like the hardest level of Pantheon and doing ultimatum runs of these dungeons and getting all the titles and shit like that. Like I'm going out and chasing all this. Like I'm trying to do contest dungeons. I'm doing contest dungeons. I'm trying to do the contest raids, et cetera, et cetera. So, I definitely I can see it from both sides. Like I do have friends who are more casual who want to play the stage, want to pop in. They want to be able to play the expansion, maybe do some strikes or a dungeon and then bow out for the next year. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. I think this is really going to be beneficial to them. Now they can just do it every 6 months instead of every year. Yeah. And they won't feel like they're behind. Something that Joe and I were talking about earlier too is this system makes it easier to take a break. Like on paper, this makes it way easier for people to take a break. Like, hey, maybe one of the expansions or seasons or like seasonal updates doesn't really, tickle your pickle. And you're like, hey, I want to take some time off. Mm-hmm. This makes it so easy to jump back in. Now, if your whole regular fire team took some time off, you're all going to be grinding together. And you're not going to be jumping into those new activities. But with fire team power, you have a couple homies who have still been playing, and you come back to the game, boom, you're right back into the thick of it. So I do like that aspect of it. I do think that they made the game more accessible in that way. And I'm looking to see how this evolves. We have a month until launch. We have just over a month till launch. So we have like 34, 36 days, something like that.
That's crazy.
So yes, Cooper Flag will be a Dallas Maverick by that point, Corey. So,
really?
God, I hope so.
Yeah, they're going to trade him for. They're going to trade him for a washing machine.
Oh my God! I mean, I could use a new washing machine. So, as with many of our yearly expansions, bounties are receiving an update alongside the Edge of Fate. So, things that are, I'm just going to tell you what's saying. Destination bounties, you guys know what those are. Clan bounties and armor synthesis bounties from 801 are all staying. The ones that are leaving are trials bounties, gunsmith bounties, and episodic vendors. So Failsafe and Ido. So if you are, if you're starting to bounty prep like myself, I would definitely keep all of that in mind. That means the destination bounties from the EDZ, Cosmodrome, Nessus, Streaming City, Moon, Europa, Throne World, Neomuna, and Eternity will all stay. 801 is getting new duties when the Edge of Fate launches. She's keeping bounties available so players can earn the necessary materials to unlock armor customization currency, but they've been simplified, removing activity-specific requirements and introducing flexible, activity-agnostic objectives for optional pathways and progression modifiers. With one exception, raid and dungeon bounties will remain as they are now. Yes! I love those. Those are so easy. It's just go do 2 encounters or finish the final encounter. It's so easy. That's how I've done all of mine for like a year now. 801 will also provide a new way for players to focus exotic armor, as we announced last week. Yada, yada, yada. Players must play Destiny 2 before July 15th to receive these new currencies for the free exotic focusing. So, definitely keep that in mind. Banshee 44 is also receiving an update so he can help Guardians round out collections with legacy gear. If there are any legacy weapons you've been looking for to complete your arsenal, you're a new player in need of some initial gear, or you simply are looking for a handful of weapons to start with in Edge of Fate with desirable roles, Banshee will offer legacy weapons for purchase. All these will cost a small amount of enhancement cores and glimmer. Dear God, please give me Beloved and Firefight from fucking Season of the Haunted, the only 2 seasonal weapons I cannot craft, because he's never sold these goddamn weapons. Please, I'm begging you, Bungie. Please, I check every single week to see if you're selling them. I check every week to see if that tentacle-faced fuck is selling them. Neither of you has sold them. One of you get it together. I'm very upset about this. It bothers me that I have to look at that. I'm sitting on all these deep side harmonizers for what?
For funsies.
Also, in the Edge of Fate, the shooting range is available day 1. We were initially planning to launch this 3 weeks after the expansion. You'll now be able to test your build starting July 15th. Why was this not a day 1 thing already? I just want to know. I just want to know why this was not a day 1 thing leading up to a contest raid. Why this was not a day 1 planned addition. Why? You were going to leave it until after the contest dungeon, until after trials had come and gone for the first time. I just want to talk to the manager. I just want to talk to the manager here. Yes, I do. I got a bone to pick with him. I just want to talk to the manager, Corey.
To be fair, I think a lot of people have a bone to pick with management over there.
Golly, it's such a small thing, but can you imagine how much this would have snowballed if they wouldn't have told us? You go in expecting to find, you're like, where the fuck's the firing range, Bungie? It's in the tower. It's in the tower, really. Where is it? And it's just the Padme and Anakin meme.
Oh, God.
Yeah. We just said it was coming in the Edge of Fate. We didn't say when it was coming. Oh my God. It's going to be like Fireteam Finder all over again. Remember when that got pushed back almost a full year?
Yeah.
To quote fix the game, and that also didn't happen. All right, updates to 2 somewhat beloved playlists. Iron Banner and the Edge of Fate. When the Edge of Fate launches July 15th, Iron Banner is taking a hiatus. After centuries of nonstop work, Lord Saladin is taking a well-deserved break and will return to the tower in September when Ash and Iron arrives. Those of you looking to scratch the Crucible itch will have a variety of game modes available. Heavy Metal will be coming back as an event in the future. Starting July 29th, Trials will have new weapons and armor to earn as you prove yourselves every weekend through September. That's very cool that we're getting new armor right away. We just got it this season. That kind of surprises me. I thought they would save that for January. I guess I better get in there and earn this Trials armor. We'll have more details in a future TWAB on PvP playlist updates, but we'd like to call out a new playlist coming on week 1 of the Edge of Fate, Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge allows only featured seasonal weapons, armor, and exotics to be used against your opponents. This will provide a fun space not only to focus on newer gear, but to focus up the meta in some ways. We're excited to see what weapons rise to the top and what builds you come up with outside of tired and true exotic pairings we see commonly today. I am excited for that playlist. I'll probably hate it after like 3 matches, but I'm excited to see it. And I like that it's an option. We're all about options here. So I like that.
Options are good.
Speaking of options, though, Gambit's not getting one of those. Gambit did not have its option picked up. Gambit has always been a PvEVP game mode with a loyal fan base and, let's say, funny anecdotes from the eccentric Uncle Drifter. We want to share with you all that Gambit will be taking a form of hiatus. Players will still be able to play the activity and earn legacy rewards for transmog purposes, and the activity will live under the Worlds tab as it does now. If there is any specific gear you're looking for, Drifter will still be able to focus them as a vendor. This is not the end of Gambit, though. Besides continuing to support the mode for legacy rewards and triumphs, we have plans to bring the spotlight back to Gambit in the future with updated rewards and mechanics that players have not seen since the days of Prime. I'm actually really excited for that. Gambit Prime is still the best version of Gambit we've ever had. Far and away. Far and away. Gambit has not been the same since they took Prime out. Prime was the only way to play Gambit as far as I was concerned. So I hope this, please give me armor perks. We're getting set bonuses. Give me some Gambit set bonuses. I'd be very excited for that. I really, truly do like Gambit Prime. I would play a lot more Gambit if Gambit Prime was in the game. I enjoy it. I like Gambit. I said it. I like Gambit Prime. I like Gambit Prime. So this is music to my ears. I really like that. John and I have been begging this for years. We miss our set bonuses. He misses his lockdown armor. I miss my collector armor or my Reaper armor. I can't wait. But I think that's going to be it for the TWABs tonight. We do have one final question that I want to get to here before the end. And that is from, of course, Jiggly Panda. Jiggly Panda wrote in today with a new question. When do you think we'll hear Keith David as Zavala again?
I bet he shows up for Renegades.
That was my guess too. I think he's going to take a back seat for Edge of Fate. We've already seen that Ikora is going to be probably the Vanguard member with us. Mm-hmm. I think Zavala and Crow have both earned a holiday.
Yeah. Plus, I wonder if they're going to just kind of almost quietly semi-retire Zavala for a while.
I was thinking that also. Yeah. We had already thought they were going to do that before Lance Reddick's tragic passing. Mm-hmm. We'd already kind of felt like Zavala was probably going to be, just still hanging out on Earth. And I think when there's something that involves Earth or the moon or something, he'll probably be at the forefront.
Yeah.
But I could see them writing him out for at least the next year.
Yeah. Just to not give him a break, but I don't
give him a break.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Zavala really has been the person in the tower since Haunted that has, even going back before Haunted, really back to when we evacuated the original planets that got taken by the darkness. Mm-hmm. He's kind of been the Vanguard guy that we've talked to. They really struggled to fill that void after Cade died. Ikora never filled it, and I think it was Gina Torres just was never available.
Yeah.
So, Lance really stepped into that void and just was this amazing performance. And, tragically he passed. But Keith David stepped in and gave us... Keith David was the Zavala we needed for the final shape.
Yeah.
He was a war-weary Zavala. There was clearly a ton of Zavala dialogue in it, like they were planning for this. Notice he has not been a part of the episodic content yet. And I really think that's because they want to use Keith David sparingly, is my belief.
Yeah.
Keith David's not a spring chicken.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll be in a cutscene at the beginning or something, but I could totally see him being out until next year, like you said.
Keith David is 69 years old. We share a birthday. Both of our birthdays are the same day.
Nice. Did you know that my daughter shares a birthday with Harrison Ford?
I did not.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have known that.
Well, you do now. Until we get off this pod, and you'll just forget after 5 minutes.
I probably will, no offense.
I mean, I'm not expecting you to remember my daughter's birthday.
I wonder if he's going to be involved with the CE remake. I know that he does not voice a character in Halo 1, but we know the Arbiter was there during those events. And if you're remaking the game, perfect opportunity to add some cutscenes in.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Why not? Why not indeed? But I think that's about all I've got.
I mean, there's not much this week, Josh.
There's really not. I have nothing else to say without talking ourselves in circles. We will be back next week. Not next week. 2 weeks from now. Yes, 2 weeks from now. I know my weeks.
Yes. Oh man, Josh, what a busy year.
Man, this year has just like kind of blown by.
Yeah, it's been something. It's been something, but yeah. Well, we're done. We're done early. We're done early, Josh.
We're done early. Let's get out of here, man.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of Tower Casuals. You can check out our sister show, Xbox Casuals, which has had 2 shows this past week, including the Xbox Summer Showcase recap, which was fun. Josh, thank you for your time as always. I appreciate you, and everybody out there. We appreciate you. You can follow us on social media. You can join the Discord and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.